What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Kondo coming back at you with another video. Our Atlanta Falcons are making moves today. It was quiet yesterday. We started a new league year, but they are definitely making moves today. That wide receiver room has been totally made over. Don't think they're done, but we're going to talk about that. And no more Desmond Ritter. He was traded for one of those wide receivers that the Atlanta Falcons brought in. What does that mean for our quarterback room? And we're going to get into that. Last but not least, we definitely got to talk about this whole tampering investigation thing. What that means for Atlanta Falcons if they are found to be, tampered before this, the start of the new league year. So we'll get to that as well, guys. If you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button. I know you guys like to hear what I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to get right into the first thing today. And yeah, guys, I'm going on 3 days now of live because the Falcons are making moves. As long as the Falcons do move, definitely going to get out here and talk to you guys about what's going on with our Falcons and how they're making this team better before the season starts. So first thing we're going to talk about, guys, like I mentioned, is the tampering investigation things that the Atlanta Falcons got. The Atlanta Falcons, along with the Philadelphia Eagles, are being looked at for tampering situations before the start of the new league year. Kirk Cousins did his introductory press conference last night, and he mentioned that he talked to the athletic training staff, the day before. I don't know if that means tampering. I thought you could talk with the team, um, before you actually sign, because I thought that's what it was all about. But it sounds like if he came and met with him in person and had a meeting with them, I guess that would be considered tampering. We don't know. I really don't know the details. I guess we'll find out if the Atlanta Falcons find out to be guilty of tampering, because what Kirk Cousins spoke about last night. Only thing I said, he mentioned that he talked to that athletic trainer, um, yesterday when he was talking about Tuesday on the phone. So if that's tampering, I guess that's tampering. I'm not sure. Um, you want to know that if you agree with somebody, you want to know some details before you sign. So I don't understand it at all. You might well just get rid of it. They can't talk to people within the organizations. Just wait till the start of a new year to talk to people. But however, the rules are the rules. If they broke the rules, um, if you go back from history, on the Kansas City Chiefs got found out for tampering for they had a receiver that they brought in. Um, they lost a third round pick in 1 year, then a fifth round pick the next year. That would be devastating for our Atlanta Falcons. Remember, we got that extra third round pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars because of the Calvin Ridley trade. That would suck. So hopefully they determined that the Atlanta Falcons did not tamper, and we keep all our picks. We got 8 picks. We got 4 in the top 80. So that would be bad. So hopefully, what he said, it was just a misspeak or whatever, and it does not constitute a tampering violation for the Atlanta Falcons. Because I don't think it was ill intent. They was not trying to break any rules or things like that. The guy was just trying to get with the athletic trainers to find out his rehab for his Achilles. So, but rules are rules. Atlanta Falcons always get hit with tampering violations. Remember last year, they got hit because they didn't notify the league or put out there that Bijan Robinson was sick and he was not on injury report, so they got fined. I think it was $100,000 for that last season. So, I mean, we always get hit. Remember, we got fined for pumping crowd noise into the stadium. So, it seemed like Lee always tried to come out there Falcons for something that really is minute, right? It's not really a big deal, but rules are rules. They broke the rules. I guess they're gonna get fined for it or get hit for it. Hopefully, this is not the case, but we had to talk about it because there is a report out there that the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know, what's going on with the Eagles because I don't follow them, but both of those teams right now are being investigated for tampering before the start of the new league year. Soon as we hear something else, soon as we get details about If they're gonna get hit with that or not, definitely let you guys know. Um, MC said the Atlanta Falcons have an amazing offseason now, just need a great draft. They are having an amazing offseason. I agree with you. It started off slow yesterday, like it was just a little slow. I guess that's where we want to see it move fast. But free agency is a big long, it's a long span, right? It can go all the way up to training camp. To be honest with you, and even after the draft, they can still sign free agents. We just want to see it happen so quick and so fast. But you remember that first wave is really where the team's spending a lot of money. The teams that got a lot of money out there spending money. The guys are getting, really probably getting overpaid because teams got money to spend. But this second wave is going to be guys that's trying to find the best fit for them, for themselves to be able to get in, try to win, and then you know be able to get some playing time where they can like maybe create another um contract down the road. So that's where you start to see teams starting to, I mean, players starting to pick their teams and trying to figure out the best spot for them because it's not going to be that much money left out there. So they're trying to pick the best opportunity for them and their families, of course. So that's what it's going to be about. But you are right. I agree that the Atlanta Falcons have had a great offseason so far, and we're going to get into some of those um, other moves that they have made. Um, and one in particular, guys, which be honest with you, this was a shock to me. I'm not gonna lie, it was really a shock because of his cap hit. He was probably about $3 million over the next 2 seasons, so it was not a big cap hit to keep Desmond Ritter, and I just assumed that they was going to utilize him to be the backup quarterback. But however, with that being said, the Atlanta Falcons traded Desmond Ritter to the Arizona Cardinals today for wide receiver Rondell Moore. They save about $922 on the cap space for 2024. Since he had a second year deal, they don't have to worry about 2025. So they save another 1.43 million for 2025. So not a whole lot of cap space there. But I think this was more of they just wanted, a mature, a veteran backup in the room, which means what does that mean for a guy like Taylor Heineke? The issue I have with Taylor Heineke is that he's going to make about $9.6 million. That's what he's due on this cap for 2024. And to me, I feel like that's just a lot of cap for a backup quarterback who's not really good. He can come in. If you look at what he was able to do in Washington, I assume that he can play better than he played last year up on Arthur Smith. But at the same time, 9.6 million for a backup quarterback, I don't like it. Um, maybe they might restructure Taylor Heineke. Maybe he might get cut here before Sunday. If he's still on the roster by Sunday, they will owe him that roster bonus. So he will get that roster bonus that's going to also get added to the this year's cap as well. So that's that's what we're dealing with, guys. Kirk, if Taylor Heineke keeps saying Kirk, if Taylor Heineke's still on the roster, by Sunday, like I said, it'll be a $9.6 million cap hit for 2024. If they decide to cut him, we'll save about $6.5 million. But by them trading Desmond Ritter, it's safe to assume that they might keep Taylor Heineke on as the backup quarterback. I'll be interested if they decide to restructure his deal, though. We still haven't heard about that, so we'll see if that's something that the Atlanta Falcons and Taylor Heineke are willing to do moving forward. So I want to say about Desmond Ritter is that um, he's a young quarterback. I still think he has the talent to improve, but I do believe that he maybe could be a career backup from what we've seen over 2023. I think he's going to a good situation to learn behind a guy like Kyler Murray, and he has to be ready. Kyler Murray is, kind of run around a lot, kind of get injured. So Desmond Ritter might get his opportunity once again to get out there and prove that he has what it takes to be a starter in this league. But I think this is a good situation for him. I think a change of scenery um, is going to be good for Desmond Ritter. It's not his career's not over, but he just need to go back, relook, rekindle some things, figure out what he need to do, and sit back and learn behind a guy like Kyler Murray. So it's not in a row for Desmond Ritter. It is in Atlanta, of course it is, but um, this trade works out for both teams, I think, and we definitely gonna get into talk about that wide receiver room because I believe that it's a totally different philosophy than what we seen last year. What you're looking at what the Atlanta Falcons are doing when we talking about the wide receiver room. So good luck to Desmond Ritter. Unfortunately, um, it didn't work out for him in Atlanta. 17 games. I think it was an 8-9 record that he had over that time span. So it's not a large sample size. However, it was enough to for most people to realize that it's a lot of growing that he has to do, a lot of development that he needs, and at this point, looking at the coaching change, I don't think Raheem Morris and the coaching staff was ready to go ahead and do that with Des Ritter. Maybe they might do it with a younger quarterback that they could pick in the draft here, because they did trade Des Ritter. They might still want to go with a young guy, just to start develop to sit behind Kirk Cousins for a few years. But um, Des Ritter seems like he's not the guy that they want to develop. So good luck to him. Hopefully he lands on his feet in Arizona, learn behind Kyler Murray, and when you're a backup, because we know we definitely seen it last season that a lot of teams had to play their backup last year. So, Desmond Ritter has to stay ready and get out there. And next time he get his opportunity, he got to let it rip and limit the mistakes. That's what I need to say to Desmond Ritter, limit the mistakes. So, guys, let me know what you think about the Desmond Ritter trade. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this. Were you as surprised as I was to know that they decided to trade him? And so far, they're keeping Taylor Heineke. We don't know that 100% sure because it is some more veteran quarterbacks that they can bring back in that, in my opinion, may be better suited to be a backup, vice a guy like Taylor Heineke. But he does have connections with some guys on the team. Um, Zen Campese, the guy that they brought in to be a senior offense assistant, he was with Taylor Heineke with the Commanders out there in Washington, so he knows him very well. T.J. Yates knows Taylor Heineke as well, so maybe they're comfortable with him, so that's why um, Taylor Heineke is still on this squad. We just got to see um, why or when who if he's going to be named the backup, and we'll just have to see with that. Wallace says, "What's going on? What's going on, Wallace?" Yeah, I was just talking about Dez um, getting traded to the Arizona Cardinals, and I think it's a good situation for him. A new change of scenery, get back in, get back. Don't have the pressure of being a starting quarterback. Learn the system, sit back, and when he get his opportunity next time, it might be better for him. You know, Unfortunately, you know the regime last year, Arthur Smith, put all the pressure on him. A team that was, you know, had a lot of aspirations to make it to the playoffs, and you put a young quarterback in there, and he just couldn't live up to the hype, and he got overwhelming for him. He made too many mistakes. When we still had a chance late in the season, made probably the worst throw ever, in that Carolina game. We could have won that game. The window would have still been there for us as the Atlanta Falcon team, but um, that kind of sealed our fate. And I think, in essence, it sealed Arthur Smith and Desmond Ritter fate as well. I just think at the end of the day, that's what happened. So, but Desmond Ritter traded, and now let's talk about who he was traded for. And we're going to talk about the wide receiver room being made completely over. It's just that simple. The wide receiver room being made completely over. Wallace says, this is a good for him, get a fresh start. I'm glad they could get a trade for him instead of cutting him and not get it. Yes, I agree with that. That's 100%, man. Like, when it was first reported they were trying to trade him, I was like, what, they're going to try to get a pick for him? But the whole idea of actually getting a player, I thought was outstanding, man. You got to tip your hats into what the Atlanta Falcons front office is able to do, because this was a really the ideal way to let Desmond move and get another opportunity, but for us to get something back in return, which actually feel a need for us because you know before before today, um, before today, the Atlanta Falcons only had two veteran receivers. They have a couple undrafted free agent, on the squad as well. But I really want to count those guys. I think Josh Ali, not sure what the other guy's name, but before today, they only had Darnell Mooney, the guy we just brought in. This free agency period, and of course Drake London, right? But this trade with Desmond Ritter, we was able to bring in Rondell Moore, a guy that is lightning fast, lightning speed. Um, but if you look at the kind of guys that Atlanta Falcons bringing in, right, it's not going to be something to make you turn your heads. But what I mean by that, if you look at their career stats, it's not like overblown. Like this guy has a lot of productivity at his last stop. In this case, Rondell Moore probably felt like he was being underused in Arizona. A guy that can run 4.3. His skill set, bringing him to Atlanta, I think he will be utilized a little bit more than what he was utilized in Arizona. So I also think it was a good trade for him, a change of scenery, put him in a new system where I think he can actually flourish now. Atlanta Falcons need speed on offense, and this right here is pretty much totally different makeup or just wide receiver room than we seen last year, right? We had guys, like Mac Hollins, bigger guys, and right, they tried to get speed. They went and got Scotty Miller, right? They went and got Van Jefferson trying to get speed, but getting a guy like Rondell Moore, you already had Darnell Mooney. Both of these guys run like a 4.3 when they ran the 40. So both of these guys are burner. And what that tells me that the Atlanta Falcons want to be able to put these guys in space, right? You already got the big body guys that you need on this team. You got a big Drake London, you got a big Kyle Pitts, but you want to get a guy like a Darnell Mooney and like a Rondell Moore here that they just signed for and put his guys in space, be able to stretch the field, make make defense run sideline to sideline, and they have to cover the whole field because these guys are fast. So I love both of these moves so far with Rondell Moore and Darnell Mooney as well. Both of these guys, it's just lightning quick. So I like the moves that the Atlanta Falcons made so far in this receiver room. Um, you see what these guys was able to do at their last stops. A lot of getting the ball on reverses, bubble screens. Like I said, a lot of times you get the ball in these guys' hand, they make people miss. Once they get past the first guy, they pretty much gone. So that's what you gotta love to see um, from this wide receiver room. But the contrast of how different it is from last season to this season, you can see somebody else calling the shot. Arthur Smith, like the big body guys, big run blockers who want to be really heavy, slow ground and pound game. That's what Arthur Smith wanted to run. You can see the difference here. You want to spread it out. You got a quarterback that likes to throw the ball all around. The formations even going to be different, right? Last year we had a fullback and a lot of 21 personnel. I think this year is going to be more 12, two tight ends, because we did sign Charlie Warner as well. But him and Kyle Pitts, you're going 12, but you're going to see a lot of 11 personnel as well when you see three wide receivers out there. So it's going to be more spread. So you can see the different philosophies in offense. You can tell by the quarterback they brought in. You can tell by the receivers that they're bringing in. that they're acquiring because they want speed out there, right? To complement Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So you like the difference in this receiving core room. Um, but guys, they were not there with the trade of Desmond Ritter and bringing in now that they bring also signed Cardell Hodge back to the squad, a guy who's pretty much made his whole career being a special teams guy. That's what he does. Come in just dynamic on special teams. It'll be interesting if they decide to change the kickoff rules, because he was one of the best gunners out there to get down. If they decide to go that whole XFL format, guys line up at right in front of each other, that kind of take away the gunner, right? But we'll see if they actually vote on that and make that a rule. So right now, the kickoff, the way it's formatted is still set up the same way as it been for years. But bringing back Cardell Charge, a guy only had 32 receptions, so like I said, was not utilized um as much in this system as well. Don't anticipate him to get be one of the even the top four targets here for the Atlanta Falcons, but a guy who's dependable that can come in can he is dependable when he does have opportunity to catch the ball. But he made his bones on special teams. So bringing back Cardell Hodge was huge. We did sign one of our own free agents, and if all the guys that we were gonna sign, he would have been one of the guys that I was thinking about them bringing back. And then last but not least, guys, once again they actually added another receiver today. The Atlanta Falcons brought in Ray McLeod, a guy who's been a journeyman in this league so far. He's only 27 years old, but don't been with the Pittsburgh Steelers, been with the Carolina Panthers, been with the Buffalo Bills, been with the San Francisco 49ers. A guy that is a return specialist, so you can see him actually in the return game. If you not did not see the day, CP kind of notified the fan base that he will not be returning to the team. So they do need a return specialist here. I know we got Avery Williams coming back off injury, but Ray McLeod is dynamic. If you go back, he actually almost broke one against us a couple of years ago in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium when he was with the San Francisco 49ers. Like I said, he is a journeyman, a guy that you get him the ball in the return game. So I don't know if he's going to be utilized a lot, in this passing game, but he's another guy that elusive that you get him in space. So he could be utilized. We just have to see what they want to do with Ray McLeod, but they signed him to a 2 year, $6 million deal. So bringing in, looking at our receiver room now, we got Drake London, we got Cardell Hodge, we got Darnell Mooney, got Rondell Moore, and we got Ray McLeod, right? You anticipate this Falcons team to have probably six, even maybe seven receivers. So I still think that opens up the window for them to draft a guy, receiver. Now this might take the steam off of them actually pulling a receiver in the first round, because they're starting to fill up that need they had in the receiver room in free agency. It's a counter reverse of what they did last season, right? They went heavy on defense last season, and then they went in the draft and picked up some offensive players. Look like they're going heavy on offense, filling that need. The receiver was one of the needs that they really needed to fill this offseason because we only had Drake London on the board. But I still believe that um, the guys we have brought in are any of these guys can consider maybe a number two. So that leaves open for the Atlanta Falcons to actually still bring in another guy, or like I said, go into the draft and bring in a guy. So be on the lookout for that. But looking at this receiver core, it's been totally revamped. We got speed, different guys that being able to get those guys in space going to be able to do the things they do. So let's go over some of your comments here. Wallace says they needed a backup. They needed a backup quarterback. We needed another receiver. Yep, you talking about Dez? Yes, that is true. So it was a win-win for both sides. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get Ray, man. I was building it up. That's what I was doing. Um, Kevin Hart said, I think play action with deep shots are going to be a staple of this new offense. Yes, I agree with you because if we can get that running game going, like we should be able to, I agree with you. We should be able to with those two horses we got in the backfield. Um, because they got to stop those guys. But that will open up play action. That will get guys streaking down the field. And the greatest thing about the acquisition of Kirk Cousins is the fact that his accuracy, getting guys the ball in the hand. That's where we really was hurt this past season. We couldn't get deep shots down, no accurate passes, guys. It was not good this year. So I anticipate that to be better as well. Um, but you got guys that can actually get over top of people, right? So you love to see that play action game, working at its best. Wallace also says, I heard that Moore ran a 4.28 40. Yes, I seen that too. So that's even you know that's even better. I saw that he ran a 4.28. That's amazing, right? Like I said, and you would think with that speed, why he not being utilized right? We don't know. Is it him or is it how he was utilized? I think he was unhappy the way he was utilized in Arizona. So this is a fresh start for him. Come in with a new coaching staff that wants to get him the rock, right? If we get him, like I said, give him the ball in space. If you go out and look at some of the things he do when he does have the ball in the hand, he's dynamic. So that speed, that's one thing you cannot teach in NFL. And trust me, speedy guys, they put fear in defensive backs because they do not want to get burnt, right? They start to get handsy, right? They even call different coverages for guys. Look how teams um play Tyreek Hill, right? Because they know once he get on top, it's a wrap, right? That's what you like to see, and hopefully we can utilize guys like Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore in that same fashion. Wallace says, and they signed McLeod. Yep, that's right. But still, I think the draft is bigger receiver because Moore is 5'9", McLeod 5'7". Yeah, and Darnell Mooney is 5'10", right? So you're right. It's a different, right? Arthur Smith like the big receivers. Um, this regime like the small, fast, twitchy guys. But I think they got a mixture because you look at a guy like Cardell Hodge, Drake London. You see what Kyle Pitts, the size he is. Charlie Warner is, like I said, the other tight end. Um, but it's a little mixture. So I do expect them. I'm with you. I do expect them to go out and get another big body receiver just to complement all these fast speed guys that we do have on the squad. I was surprised by how good KC stats were for accuracy and yards and touchdowns last. Yes, yes. I mean, believe it or not, guys, you know, the only reason Kirk Cousins is not getting the love that based off the stats because of winning big games and winning the playoffs, right? That's how guys make their name. Even though it's a team, it takes a team to win it, right? um that's where quarterbacks make their name in the playoffs, big games and things like that. So but you are correct. He's been lining it up for like the last 5 years, right? If we get that version of Kirk Cousins, coming off that Achilles injury, we're gonna be happy with what we see. So, um, and to be honest, talking about this receiver room, I think they're gonna probably be the happiest, especially in Kyle Pitts, because you mean, they've been starving, man. They've been starving for 2 seasons, right? Um, so this is going to be really really awesome for those guys because they finally get somebody that wants to get them the ball, will be able to get them the ball, and let's see what these guys can do, man. Like we believe that they're so dynamic, but they just ain't been able to show it, right? We've seen flashes, but we have not seen the potential of a Kyle Pitts, you know, for a long period of time. We seen it the first season, right? We saw a guy went over 1,000 yards, was a Pro Bowler, right? All Pro that season. So we seen it, but we haven't seen it consistent basis. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to have a chance to see that. Drake London, I don't think he scratched the surface, and I do believe he's the number one receiver. But we get this year we get a chance to see that. So, um, you know, they put all the they talk, some of these other receivers out there. You got to remember, the first receiver taken off the board 2 years ago was Drake London, right? But he hasn't had opportunity to show that skill set, so hopefully he will get it this year. Um, while I said I think more usage got changed when they fired Kingsbury. I agree. Yep. Yeah, he did he was not utilized a lot. Um, but I mean, a guy like that, 5'9", get him in space. Kind of remind me of Taylor Gabriel. Remember we had Taylor Gabriel here a couple of years ago. Guy that's speedy. You can utilize Rondell Moore in those spots, and he can catch as well. So it's not where he can't catch the ball. I think he is physical. He despite the stature at 5'9", but so get these guys in space, man. That's what I hope they're able to do. New receiver fit his skill set. Yes, yes. I mean, you know what I'm envisioning? I'm envisioning the crossing routes with guys like Darnell Mooney and Rondell Moore. That's what I'm envisioning, man. All right, you put these guys in, you put defense and man coverage, and you do that crossing route across the field, that drag route. Oh my gosh, and they catch it in stride, man. Kind of remind me. Remember Julio used to do that drag route all the time, and when he got in stride, man, it was hard to take him down. But these guys are quick, right? Able to do that. So I love it. And the fact for me that they so fast to being able to get over the top, which opens up the underneath for Drake London and Kyle Pitts as well. So I love the fact that these guys are here, just changing different skills. So we're definitely gonna see a new offense this year. Um, we can't abandon the run because we got two really, really good running back, which to me opens up the pass even more, being able to run the ball. And believe it or not, I still believe that our offensive line, their strength is running the ball more than pass protection. So we want to be able to still take advantage of that. Um, because for one reason, we got two dynamic backs, and like you said earlier, we want to be able to utilize the play action. Um, yeah, I like to see. I believe they're gonna light it up, man. I really do. I really do. I know these guys are so excited, and I know I know you heard last night. If you watch the Kirk Cousins press conference, he mentioned Kyle just want targets. That's all he want. Like, he want to be able to prove, the whole bus label and all that stuff. And for pass catchers, man, it's they only as good as the guy that can give him the ball. It's not like he was getting thrown the ball, he was having drops and things like that. The fact that he wasn't even getting utilized, that was the biggest knock last season, right? All these weapons and they weren't being utilized. So um, I do not anticipate that being this way this year. I can promise you that. Um, Kirk Cousins is going to get these guys the ball. Um, I can see them drafting a wide receiver Leggett from South Carolina in the third round. A lot of people are mentioning him. He's a big body guy too. He's big body. Um, you know, I haven't went that deep into the draft. I know about Leggett, but the thing is, when we're thinking about this receiver draft class, is really deep. So they'll be able to find somebody, you know, easily in this draft. They want to get a receiver. So I'm not too concerned about the guys. Yeah, we can name the guys that we can envision being on this roster, but it's so many receivers out there. So I'm not really concerned who they draft. But Leggett is one of the ones. Um, so we'll just have to see which direction they want to go. But they do need, in my opinion, they need a bigger body receiver just to complement, those fast, speedy guys. Somebody else to go along with Drake London. So I think the pass is going to open up the running game. Oh, 100%. 100%. Because they got it for the pass. They got it for the pass. I agree with you. And I mean, don't forget, BJ out the backfield, being a pass catcher himself. So um, this is a talented offense, right? And we said it last year, but you finally got a trigger man that be able to and one thing he said, he just want to play point guard, right? That's all we ask you to do. We don't need you to be a hero. Get the ball to the playmakers, let them do what they do. Get to them where they can make plays with it. You know, of course, that's got to go with what Zach Robinson's able to do as a play caller. But um, I think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to help him a lot because he can tell him what he like. I love the fact the way he wanted to get into film with the receivers with Drake and Kyle, and talked about getting in there with Bijan and liking where they like the ball, how you can help them be better. That right there, that sounds like a veteran quarterback with experience that's been in this league a long time to know what it takes to play really good football. And just like Kevin said, he's been playing good for a while. Numbers don't lie. He really has. He's really been doing it up. So you gotta love it. Um, Kevin said I was impressed by his pressure. Yes, yes, that's what I was just talking about, man. I ain't gonna lie. I got even more confident. I already liked the decision of bringing him in, but after listening to his press conference and the fact that he gets it because he's there behind the power curve. He want to get in. He want chemistry. Um, One thing he said, if you guys wasn't aware, one of his other, because he did probably like 4 or 5 interviews between yesterday and today, and one of his things he said was that he can do 707, right? Talked about doing 707, right? So that's how you get the chemistry. He won't be able to move around. He's not there yet. He said he probably will be there by the training camp, which is great, which is awesome. But being able to drop back and do 707 and get the timing and rim down to receivers, I think he's already able to do that. And I think he's going to start developing that chemistry with these guys. I just everything he had to say. Um, everybody says a grown up in the room, and really that's what it sounded like. So I agree with you 100%. His press conference um kind of sealed the deal that it seems like the Atlanta Falcons got it right. That's one thing that they said they want to do. They was gonna get it right, and after listening to what he was talking about, it seemed like he got it right. Now, if he make us lose a draft pick because of that tampering crap, because he was talking about, I'm gonna be kind of upset, but I'm gonna be cool. But I hope that because I don't understand how he can't talk to his athletic trainers. Like he didn't meet them, he just called them and talked to them. That's tampering. That's just stupid rule. But um, I hope that didn't kill us. That's the only thing that we lose a draft pick because of that. That'd suck, man. But his his press conference was really outstanding. I agree with you on that. Um, he said need to trade back in the draft. We definitely trade back. We lose a draft pick. I agree with you. We lose a draft pick, trade back, man. Let's get it back. I agree with you. Just trade back and get more weapons. Um, I was ready to trade back anyway, because the more depth we can create with this team is the better, right? Um, Unfortunately, right now we was not able to seal the deal with a pass rusher in free agency like we want to, one of those big dynamic guys. It's not. I don't think it was because they didn't try. I mean, I think they really tried to get it done. Guys just decided to go other places. So um, they won't. They will have to address it in the draft. I don't think they're done addressing it in free agency. I think they're going to go find, like I said last night, some diamonds in the rough to make it happen. But in the end, when you're thinking about, you know, the whole overall getting one of those dynamic pass rushers, we was not able to do that. So, um, like I said, I wouldn't be really upset if they just go back and bring back our 2 sack leaders from last year, Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree. That would be a start, right? Because one thing we don't want, looking at how good his offense, the potential it has to be, right, is having our defense take a decline. We cannot have that. So, um, trading back is definitely an option. While it says you just need to drop Sweat in the second round to plug the middle of the nose tackle. It's funny you mentioned him. There's a connection on our squad that actually coach Sweat. I think it's the linebacker coach. But we do have a connection there, so that's insight there. I like to follow those kind of connections and things like that, right? The question is, will Sweat be there in the second round? They got a second round grade on him, but you know how some teams go get their guy they need, but he would be a great pickup in the middle of that field. I agree with you 100% about him. Um, a lot of great players in the first and second round of the draft. Yes, I talked about this a couple videos ago. Because this draft is so deep in certain positions, a lot of good players is going to drop to the second round. I mean, it's just going to happen. A lot of offensive linemen is going to probably go. We know the quarterback's going to go because still some quarterback needy teams out there. The receiver class is deep. We see some of the receivers go, and then you're going to see the other positions sprinkle in throughout their first round. Cornerbacks, right? Um, we got some couple of defensive guys going to get pulled off the board in that first round, but a lot of the talent's going to drop because of the quarterbacks, the offensive linemen, which is a great offensive line class this year, and then the receiver class is really deep as well. So definitely going to see a lot of talented players that had first round grades probably get dropped to the second round. Do you think we'll draft offensive line player? It could be a possibility because with a guy like Kirk Cousins, you want to protect him, keep him upright. Mm, I don't like the fact that Caleb McGarry is susceptible to getting destroyed on their right side. Um, so, and if you look at what Carolina doing, they're not making big splash moves, but they still gonna have a formidable defensive line. Don't forget they still got big man in the middle there. That dude is a monster. They lost Brian Burns, but they're adding good pieces, so that defense is not still going to be tough to be able to move the ball on. We got to be able to block for our quarterback. We got to be able to establish the run game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go offensive line um, to add to that room. So um, we of course I did forget and announce one signing that they did today, and that's Storm Norton, our swing tackle that played came in and played really well last year for us. When Caleb McGarry went down, he had a lot of good snaps. I think he only gave up one pressure, 153 snaps. So that's really good. Being that swing tackle, we was able to sign him back today. So um, of course, Matt Hennessy is out the door. He signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, so we got to be able to have depth in the offensive line. You're right. We'll see who else that they bring in if they bring in an offensive lineman. MC say Brian Robinson, 6'3", 439. He would be a perfect explanation point on this wide receiver roster. Man, he would be the perfect person, right? Because he big and he fat. You hit it, man. He's the perfect person to bring in. I think to finish it up, right? Right? Because I mean, of course, we get those other three, you know, Oduze and Marvin Harrison Jr. Any one of those guys, of course, they would be perfect. But I'm talking about getting a guy like Brian Robinson because we probably need to go defense in number 8, man. Or we move back, like you mentioned earlier, move back, or we need to go defense. But I think, having a defensive minded head coach, I think we're gonna go defense this year for the first time in 3 years. So, but he's perfect, man. I would love to have him added to this wide receiver room, especially with additions that we already added. He would be like icing on the cake. I know who you was talking about. You said Brian. I know exactly who you talking about. MC. I know who you was talking about. I think he had more touchdowns than Malik Neighbors did at LSU last year. Um, well, they signed O line. They got from Miami. Who you talking about? Wallace? Who you talking about? They signed. Yeah, Wallace. Just give me a heads up. Who you talking about? I'm not sure who they signed. Um, yeah, guys. So I mean, this wide receiver core is nasty. It is. It is. I so far anyway. It's not complete, and that's why you like where they're at right now. Um, if we had to start in NFL today, I would be really nervous, right? If we had to play a game today, because you know we still got guys that's not 100% healthy. Grady Jarrett, Kirk Cousins, right? But I'm really feel good and going into training camp. I think these guys gonna be ready to go, hit the ground running, and and by then we'll have our draft picks in. We'll see how this roster has formed into shape. But feeling one of the needs that we had this year, this offseason was that receiver room, and I think in free agency, um, it's not complete, but they really put a big dent into what they had to do to make sure that um, we're that Kirk Cousins has people to throw the ball to. So good job, good kudos on revamping this wide receiver room. All right. So guys, last thing, the question is, um, they got to make cap room. So that should be the next thing that they need to be looking at. What they need to be working on is trying to figure out the remaining cap space, because that's what they got to do right now. Um, they gonna have to make moves to, to even sign a draft class. So I do expect some restructures to happen now. Um, and that's what you do. That's what has to happen when you get your quarterback. They're gonna have to start making space. So I do expect some restructures to happen with some teams. I don't know by cuts anymore, because every time we assume that the Falcons is gonna zig, they zagged. Um, so they haven't made any cuts besides the one they made with John Smith. Everybody else that we assumed they was gonna cut is still on the roster, and they traded away Desmond Ritter. So like, honestly, guys, I don't know what the Atlanta Falcons are gonna do, but they have to be able to field the rest of the rosters. I mean, even to sign a draft class, so they're gonna have to make some roster adjustments here soon to see to get in where they need to be able to fill the rest of this roster. So do expect that. Don't know how they're going to come by doing that. If they're going to cut, if they're going to do restructure, who they're going to restructure. We still don't know that. That's still up in the air. But they do have to make moves. So that would be the next step for our Atlanta Falcons, is to they can make roster moves still without fixing the roster, because right now you're looking at it, um, the new league year is here. Now teams can start to make deals, and they don't have to worry about being under. They just had to be under when the new league year start. And now they could, manipulate the roster in the caps like they need to be able to bring guys in. They just won't be officially signed yet. Like if you notice, the Atlanta Falcons has not announced Darnell Mooney officially signed as of yet. Um, they announced um, Charlie Warner. They announced Kirk Cousins. Right. They announced the trade um, or Rondell Moore, but they still haven't announced JJ McLeod officially. Right. It's been talked that he was going to get signed. That is there. It's been talked about that we was going to sign Darnell Mooney, but when the team officially announced these guys, that's when that number goes onto the cap. So that's why I'm saying they got to make some adjustment to the salary cap to make sure we get to where we're going. And I do expect them to start looking on the defensive side of the ball and bring on some defensive player. Right now, it's been heavily offense. Um, But I do believe that second wave of free agency is going to start to come in, and be on the lookout for some more moves. Not a lot, but look around the edges. I think they're going to really get some of their needs now in the draft. But for the most part, I believe that they still going to add a couple more pieces. While it says they get it 6'3", 227 pounds, 439. Yes, he would also be perfect, man. Brian Brian Thomas Jr. and you bring Leggett in, both of those guys, man. That would be nice. That either one of those guys, I'm sold. I'm so like, and that's what I mean when I say this wide receiver class deep, because either one of the guys, I wouldn't be mad either way, right? Then you think about the other three we talked about. Either way, either one of those guys, like, so that's how deep this class is, and we leaving out guys, man. But you know, um, AD Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell, you bring him in. He's a big receiver. He runs fast, 4.3, right? That's another guy. So it's so many guys that the Atlanta Falcons could you know, could target in this draft, especially at the receiver position. That's why I don't think it's important for them to go get it at 8. Now, the board stacks up like it stacks up. One of those three guys might be there at number 8, and that will be tempting. It really would be, right? Because some of those guys got potential to be um, all world, all world line receivers in this league. So um, I mean, I don't know if a Malik Neighbors there or Roma Doomsday there, do you really not pick those guys? Because right now we don't have a a number 2. We don't have a really number 2 right now. So it would be tempting. I still think they might go defense, but that would be really tempting for them not to pull one of those guys off the board if they send there at number 8. They're going after a draft a quarterback, not defense. You might be right, man. The ideal of trading Desmond Ritter, and I talked about this earlier. Maybe they want to bring in a young quarterback to groom to go behind Kirk Cousins. That could be the case. Um, I don't think it's going to happen in number 8 though. I don't believe it happened in number 8. I actually anticipate them before they draft a quarterback in number 8. I see them going back in the draft and let another team come up for that spot to get a quarterback, because if you just in my opinion, it's no philosophy on this, but if you drop a quarterback in the top 10, you expect for him to play. Um, you don't expect for him to sit for no 2 or 3 years. I mean, you could. I mean, it's no rule to say you can't do that, but if they if they decide to get a quarterback, I don't think it'll be in the rate. I think they will drop back in the draft, get extra draft capital, and then if they want to move up late in the first round, um, where the Green Bay Packers got Jordan Love I think at 27, right? They could do something like that and pick your quarterback. Now you got that 5 years, and he can sit. I mean, Jordan Love sat for 3 years, right? So you can see something like that if they decide to go that route. Um, do you think they draft a quarterback? I do think they draft one. Um, Even if it's later in the later round, I really do believe they're gonna draft a quarterback this year. Um, yes, Mark, you're definitely going to after those young cats. Yes, yes, he's going to do it, man. I agree. Uh, Penix would be nice. I think the way he plays kind of remind you of the way Kirk Cousins accuracy, deep ball pass, not as mobile as these other guys, stuff like that. He can move her in the pocket though. He's not a statue, but I agree. A guy like Michael Penix Jr. is maybe somebody that they target. Um, I still think they draft a quarterback, back up Kurt, and sit for 2 years and learn. All you guys is on it. You guys talk about quarterbacks. You can see that. You can see that. So if Wallace, you think they draft a quarterback, do you think Taylor Heineke stays on? I just talked about it. If he's here by Sunday, he's going to get their roster bonus. So do they cut him before Sunday? And if they don't, that's that $9.6 million cap hit that we got on the book. So um, it's going to be interesting what this I do with Taylor Heineke. I'm just like I said, I was surprised at the Desmond Ridder trade because if anybody they thought because I thought they was going to get rid of, I thought it was going to be Taylor Heineke. I'm just being honest. Do you think Penix will be in the second round? I don't know if he'll make it to the second round because it's so many teams that want to get their signature collar in. You look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, they brought in Gardner Minshew, but is he the long term guy? Um, I don't know. You look at the Denver Broncos. They definitely need to bring guy. They just let Russell Wilson go. They pay him $38 million. Um, they got you know Stetson. They got him there, but is he long term? Probably not. So the Minnesota Vikings, right? They brought in Sam Darnold, but is he long term? So um, those those three teams, include the three teams up front, and then don't forget the New York Giants as well. So I'm not 100% sure that Michael Penix Jr. will actually be there in the second round. So, and that's why I mentioned the Falcons can trade back out of 8, let one of those quarterbacks in you know, the the Broncos, and the Vikings, one of those teams move up and draft their guy. The Falcons come back, get some draft capital, then come back in the first round and you know and draft a quarterback late in the first round. So that could be an ideal. We just don't know, but um, it's it might be 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. It really might be 5 quarterbacks get taken in the first round. Um, I still think Chicago is interesting. Um, it's fascinating to think about because Justin Fields is still on the team, and the longer he's on the team, I'm starting to lean that they might actually keep him, and that number one pick now becomes like gold to a lot of teams, right? Even to the Falcons. Um, Maybe not now because they just paid $180 million to Kirk Cousins, but you know, I know I would be pissed if I was the Falcons if they decide to keep Justin Fields because we could have just moved up and got a young guy and and just started that way. That would have been my preference in the first place to go get one of the young guys up front, up top, and build that way. But I like what we did. But Chicago is fascinating because Justin Fields is still on the roster, and if you look at all the teams are picking up their backup quarterbacks around the league, and what's did that where did that leave Justin Fields? I'm starting to think a place like the New York Giants is a good place for Justin Fields because um, they bring him in, right? So I don't know what they're gonna do, but we just have to see. Um, in the first round, yep. Um, this right here is what the draft is all about. Expect the unexpected. Yes, that's why the draft is exciting, man. Because we don't know what's gonna happen, right? I don't think nobody expected Kansas City to come all the way up to number 11 or number 10 to take Patrick Mahomes. You know, right before the Texans took Deshaun Watson. So I don't think nobody expected that. But look what happened. They moved all the way up. They had Alex Smith there. It was a playoff team. They moved all the way up to get Patrick Mahomes, and history is written right there. Put Perry in the read with Patrick Mahomes. So you don't know what they expect. That is a great point. Yeah, if Heineke is still on the roster and they pay him that roster bonus, then we won't be drafting a quarterback this year. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. I'm shocked about him still on the roster. I'm not gonna lie. But like I spoke earlier, he has ties there. Ken Zampezi, the guy they brought in, he's real familiar with Taylor Heineke, right? And and I talked about it. They just wanted some adults in the room. Taylor Heineke knows his role. He knows he's a backup quarterback. It's no surprise there. He's not even thinking about trying to be a starter. He would start. That's not what I'm saying, but he knows he's brought in to help the starter. That's what he does, and that's why I can see them bringing him back. Now I wish they would restructure his contract if he stays, right. Let's restructure it and and get that cap number down. I would love that. So um I still think the Bears are going to keep Fields and get more draft capital by trading out of the first pick. It seems like it, man. Like, believe it or not, if you look at the offseason moves that the Bears have made, they have did a great job building around whatever quarterback they get. And you already got Justin Fields there, so um, that team it will be dynamic. I do believe that Justin Fields has to improve. There's no doubt about that. He's got to be more consistent. You know, as a quarterback in this league, he's going into a new offensive system again. Like that's my issue, right? He's going to a new offensive system, so he don't even have his old offensive coordinator from the previous season. He's going into a whole new offense again, so it'll be once again a learning curve for Justin Fields. So um, it's going to be interesting. I agree. I don't know what they're going to do. They might keep Justin and still draft a quarterback at number one. Wallace, maybe you could join Terry and help draft. I like your responses. Yeah, man, Wallace know what he's talking about now. Believe that. Great points. And a lot of times, like he mentioned Sweat, right? He mentioned Sweat. He mentioned Leggett. Be on the lookout for those guys because they definitely might um be somebody that the Atlanta Falcons actually pull their names off the board when it comes draft time. So um I like when we pick guys that we think the Falcons going to draft didn't actually happen. I was so happy when the Atlanta Falcons drafted um the big running back. I was so happy they drafted him because I picked him to come to the Atlanta Falcons at in the fifth round, and then he go out and run over 1,000 yards. So um, you gotta love it when you get it right. You see what direction they can go. I can tell you the first round picks though. I have not got one first round pick right in this draft. It's probably Kyle Pitts. I think I thought I kind of picked Kyle Pitts. I know a lot of people thought we was going Justin Fields because we need a quarterback, but they went Kyle Pitts, and I was surprised. I definitely was surprised they went Drake London. I thought it was going defense, and then I think everybody was surprised that they picked Bijan, with Jalen Carter still on the board. So, but I got Tyler Algier right, so you know, and it's harder to pick the ones later in the round too, because there's so many guys that you can go with. So, no, Recondo, they don't need to restructure Heineke contract because he has one more year on his contract, and they can let him walk. No, what I'm saying is they need to drop that number, that 9.6. And I mean, what I mean by that, he need to take a pay cut, man. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about move his contract to further years. I mean, tell him we're gonna cut you or you take a pay cut. That's what I mean. I'm sorry if that's I said restructure, but no, I mean reduce that. Like we want to keep you, but we don't want to keep you at that salary, right? It's a new coaching staff. We want to keep you, but we don't want to keep you at 9.6 million. That's what I mean, right? So I'm not meaning restructure and add another year onto his contract. No, because he get 9.6 guaranteed. No, we don't want to give you that. We want to give you less. That's what I mean. So If he want to stay with us, take a pay cut, man. Like we need to get that number down. It's too much, right? Now I don't know if anybody knows the going rate for backup quarterbacks. Maybe that's the range. I don't think so, but because I know Matt Sharp was here and he signed contract for like 2 million when he was backing up Matt Ryan, right? So 9.6 seems like a lot to me. It just does. I wouldn't pay and Taylor Heineke and all that. I mean, you still got guys like Ryan Tannehill. You got Jimmy Garoppolo. You got Carson Wentz. You got guys. Carson Wentz. He's familiar with this coaching staff, Zach Robinson. So I'm saying like you can find another backup quarterback that you could be feel more comfortable with than Taylor Heineke if he's going to be 9.6 mil. So that's why I'm saying that. So, um, but we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know how they feel about Taylor Heineke. Like I said, he does have connections with the team. Maybe they're content and they're satisfied with him being that backup quarterback. We just don't know. So guys, I enjoyed it tonight. It's over an hour coming in. Our Falcons made moves today. It was boring yesterday. We did get to hear from our quarterback. I think he got everybody fired up by his comments, the things that he said, um, the whole thing about winning, the chemistry. I was really excited to see. You know, I can't wait to see him go out there and start slinging the ball and get it to our targets. Um, I think he's going to have number 8. I think Kyle Pitts is going to 84. So mention about the league. I think it's early enough for them to go ahead and make that decision to do the jersey swap and things like that. But um, man, I'm excited so far. New wide receiver room, sitting the collar here. Um, Offense is intact. Ricondo Sharp contract was got more than 2 million. I don't remember. I don't remember the contract. I thought one season he got 2 million though, a season, if I'm not mistaken. But you probably you could be right. I don't remember that far back, to be honest with you. Just going out the top of my head. But I still believe 9.6 is too much. Just saying. Just saying. Uh Ricondo, you rock, brother. Everyone else. Thank you guys for coming in tonight, man. We'll see what if the Falcons make any move this weekend. Be on the look. That's the you can believe it or not. That's the second phase. There's a lot of more talented NFL players out there that's going to sign with somebody. Um, we just got to see who it is. A lot of more teams got cap space. I don't think our Falcons are done. I think they got to start looking at defensive players now and get it done. So guys, that's all I have. Thank you for coming in and kicking it with me tonight. Once again, our Atlanta Falcons have started trying to develop this roster, and we still got a long way to go. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.